Shalom, Yahshala, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Yasharallah. Call Holoyim, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakah, Kwadash, for blessing our elders with the spirit of truth, so that we may know. Shout out to the Akim and the Akwaf that's keeping the faith and the works. Y'all keep at it. This your brother Abaya coming at you with more precepts. This is the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, wherein who is he? All right. This is a wicked world that we live in. It's out of order, out of balance, because it's ran by wickedness. Right? And the more you try to grasp on to this wicked world and be like the world, the closer you are to being judged by Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. This particular video is speaking on a young lady that was put to death by Edomite. You know what I'm saying? When the news first hit, it was a weird story. Like, the girl went on a dating app, met this Edomite, this older Edomite. I think he was in his 30s. She was in her early 20s or something like that. Met the Edomite. They went out on a date. This is what he's saying. Right? They went out on a date. He took her back home. She got a little drunk, passed out. He carried her to the bed, laid down with her. She woke up the next day, he woke up the next day rather, and saw the Eve with blood coming out of her nose, and she was unresponsive. And that was that. The police in this certain area, I forget the place where it is, but he gonna name it in the video. The police in the area literally did nothing about it. They didn't send a detective to check out nothing. They took no fingerprints. They didn't even go to the crime scene for real, and like check anything. Right? The dude she went on a date with, he was not a suspect. That man was free as hell. In fact, when the family of this Eve went to the police told the family that he was a good dude. Meaning, it sounded like they knew him or something. Right? But at the end of the day, no charges were pressed against this man. Right? But that's this world that we live in. It's wicked. All right, let me see. It's a lot. 1 second. Matter of fact, hold up. Okay, so this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1 and verse 4. It says, therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore a wrong judgment proceedeth. All right? So, we living in this wicked world expecting righteous judgment to proceed when basically every incident is brought forth, but it don't work like that in this world because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Right? And to be real with you, this ain't just Esau's world. This Eve world too. Eve and the spirit of Esau have always interacted with one another since the Garden of Eden, man. Real talk. That's why Hashatan, or that spirit, right, went to Eve, didn't go to Adam. Right? Matter of fact, this is the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 13. It says, for Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. right? That's why the devil went to Eve and not to Adam, because she the weaker vessel, right? Basically, Eve attaches herself to power. This is a weak-minded Eve, for real. But she attaches herself to power. Whoever in charge, that's who she want to be with, because it makes her life easier. It makes her life more comfortable, right? And in this wicked world that's against the so-called black man, so-called Hispanic man, and so-called Native American man, we have no power in this world. So automatically, Eve is going to attach herself to this world, right? That's why it's such a big deal when it's the first black woman to do this and the first black woman to do that, right? But at the end of the day, man, this world wicked as hell. And if you attach yourself to this world, the Most High said, you doomed. Right, so with that being said, man, I'm gonna let this video play and I'll be back.
There's an update to the Lauren Smith Fields case. Now, if you remember her, she was 23 years old, and she was found deceased in her bed. At the time, the police claim it was not old, when we say old, we think elderly, white man that just found her, dead on the bed. The police that gave the family basically the runaround. Didn't treat them, as they should treated them whatsoever. But now the toxicology report has come out, and it actually said what she died of. And also, as people put up things on social media, things are found. Lauren said some one interesting thing in particular that caught definitely my attention. But let's go ahead and roll this clip, so you can actually hear everything, what's being said, even what the family is saying. Let's go to it.
Death of 23-year-old Lauren Smith Fields.
It was careless. It was no concern. There was no, care for the family about how we felt, our grief, our pain, none of that.
The EI team obtained this police report of the response to a 911 call from Lauren's apartment on the morning of December 12th from a white male identified as Matthew LaFountain. The investigator notes he was trembling and visibly shaken. LaFountain said they met on the dating site Bumble, began drinking shots of tequila, and Lauren became ill. That later they played some games, ate some food, and started to watch a movie. He says he carried her to her bedroom and laid her in her bed. He then laid down next to her and fell asleep. He woke up again at approximately 06:30 hours, and she was laying on her right side. Blood was coming out of her right nostril onto the bed, and she was not breathing.
The whole day goes by. No police reach out to the family at all.
Her close-knit family says they went to the apartment the next day after frantically calling and texting Lauren and were referred to a Detective Cronin.
They didn't even contact us. They didn't let us know anything. It's crazy. And I'm asking what's going on. He said she met some guy on Bumble. And I'm asking about the guy. He was like, oh, he sounds like a really nice guy. He sounds like a really good guy. And he was like, I'll call you back, and just hung up in my face.
They say the detective promised to come by the apartment.
Never showed up.
The family says the relationship with police devolved from there. No contact from December 13th until December 29th. They returned to the apartment to clear out Lauren's belongings and claim a new detective came by to say he'd taken over the case from Detective Cronin.
Detective said he effed up, he messed up. He effed Cronin, he messed up. He didn't know what he was doing. He messed up the case.
The family says they provided evidence they'd collected to crime scene investigators who arrived for the first time that day, included a bloody sheet and a pill.
And 2 cups of drinks or whatever next to a bottle. They didn't take none of that. We seen a condom. We seen lube, other stuff in there. They didn't take none of this.
Sources close to the investigation tell the I-team the Matthew LaFountain pictured in this social media photo, now removed, was the man at Lauren's apartment. A neighbor at his listed address in Milford confirmed LaFountain's identity, but we were unable to reach the 37-year-old who has not been accused of any wrongdoing.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11 and verse 4. It says, thus saith Yahweh my power, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. All right? But the point I wanted to get across was whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. If this dude was a Jake, if this dude was a so-called black man, okay, dude would be locked up right now waiting on trial, waiting on evidence. Wouldn't be no he's a good dude and he's not a suspect. He been prime suspect number one. But the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who is the wicked? All right. According to the book of Malachi chapter 1, it's Esau Edom, so-called white man, the red man according to the scripts. That's what his name means, right?
Fountain's same image appeared under the name Matthew Thomas, now also taken down.
Anyone that genuinely cared and they were there, the last person there, and they know that nothing bad happened, you would at least even reach out to the family yourself. Like, listen, I know I'm sorry for your loss of your daughter or your sister.
The family's last contact with police was on January 4th at headquarters with their attorney.
What I believe is that the police failed to collect and preserve that environment from the first day.
The attorney has now filed a notice of claim to sue Bridgeport for negligence, claiming key evidence was not initially submitted to the state lab.
I feel like because he's a white guy and she's a black girl, it's just almost like they just thrown it under the rug.
That night she was silent, so now we are her voice.
Well, as you can see, the guy that supposedly found her, and he didn't find anything, he's 37 years old. He's not no elderly man or anything.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. That's our problem. As Israel and the daughter of Babylon, our problem is we don't know we have an enemy. Let me rephrase that. We know we have an enemy, but we choose to not believe that we have an enemy. And the enemy that I'm speaking of is the people that brought us over here on them slave ships. The people that set up this system that ensures we stay at the bottom of society unless you change up everything about yourself and try to be like your enemy. The same people today that tell us to get over our past and adapt to the present society, right? That ain't changed, but they just want you to get over it so that they can feel better about themselves. The same system and society that tells us our past has nothing to do with our present and we can't talk about it. They call it critical race theory, and it's really critical race facts. Even on that matter, you got some dumbass jakes out here that's speaking against critical race facts because the enemy has spun that thing so to now so-called blacks view that as an excuse to not do whatever it is you want to do in this world today. That's not the root of critical race theory or critical race facts. I don't even like that word theory because it's facts. The fact of the matter is this system and this world is not for us. You can debate that all day and day if you want. That's on you. But the truth of the matter is, it's not. We come from our own everything, man. We had our own government, own economical system, own educational system, right? We had our own army. We had our own navy. We had our own everything. We had a name, and that name was respected around the world as a nation, and we don't have that anymore. So miss me with that critical race theory crap. These are facts that we're speaking on, right? It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. You cannot trust your enemy, man. because your enemy wants you dead. If your enemy didn't want you dead, the first thing they would have been did was told you who you were and where you come from. But they ain't did that. So they still hate you. And as soon as Eve get that through her thick skull, the better off she'll be. But Eve is out there, man. Eve is out there. Because this whole world is based off of the support of Eve. They need Eve way more than they need us. Way more than they need the so-called black man, so-called Hispanic man, and so-called Native American man. They need Eve first because that means that we'll stay out of order. If you put Eve over the man and push that mindset in society, that will ensure that we as a nation never rise because we are out of order. And that's according to the script. That's 1 Corinthians 11.
Thing like that. Now, as we all knew, she met this man on the app called Bumble. He says allegedly that, they met up, went to the crib, was drinking some tequila, played some video games or whatever. They ate food. And he said that he just, took her to her bedroom and he just, he went to sleep. And he woke up by 6:30 in the morning. And he noticed that, there was, blood coming out her nose and she was not breathing. Now, as the toxicology report said, that she definitely had the tequila in her system, but also she had fentanyl in her system. Now, fentanyl is not something that a lot of black folks food.
Fentanyl is dangerous to the touch, man. Real talk. It kills. It kills. That means Eve was murdered. Right? And 9 times out of 10, when they show the picture of Eve, I know you saw it. Well, you saw the picture. She was a beautiful woman. She was a beautiful chocolate woman. Right? But as you're going to see in this video, she got tired of Jake. Right? Because of the type of Jake she kept choosing, I'm sure, because she was so beautiful. Right? Now, this is a play Eve like to make when the money tight or when she feel like coming up. Because she know that Jake ain't gonna take the nonsense for real. She'll go to Esau with the nonsense because just to be honest, Esau a bitch ass nigga. When it come to dealing with women, he's soft as hell. He effeminate than a mug. Right? That's why he pushing home. That's why he pushing the most stuff so hard. Right? The same on same so hard because he's a bitch ass nigga. Eve can run over Esau and Esau ain't gonna say nothing. But this is the dangers of dealing with Esau. Esau will kill your ass. Straight like that. Esau will kill you, Eve. You think he weak, but at the end of the day, you don't know the wickedness that's inside that person. The wickedness that's inside of Esau goes beyond anything you can comprehend because Esau is the border of wickedness. But you got to get him to a certain point in order to see that wickedness. Unless he just blatantly wicked and he don't care. He's accepted himself. All right, but the majority of Edomites, you got to get them to a point to see that evil. And when you see that evil, it's too late. It's too late. They either taking all your money, destroying you, or they killing you. Right? And unfortunately, she had to find out the hard way.
We hear a lot of them folks fooling with fentanyl, not black folks. Now, I know a few black folks now, believe it or not, are lacing, their reefer with this stuff. And black folks, you keep getting around these other people that they do a whole lot more than you're going to have these same results. Fentanyl can actually take out an elephant. Do you know that? Fentanyl is that powerful. What are you doing fooling with any kind of fentanyl at all, right? Fentanyl is extremely powerful. But so that was in her system. And then if you go through her Facebook page, which is still up, you're going to give you an idea who Lawrence Smith Fields was. And the way they're trying to portray her right now versus what she posted on her own page. Because let me tell you something. When I was, a single man, I was dating or whatever, the first thing that I would like to see is a woman's social media page. The reason why is because this is what she put up about herself. This is what she says completely. This is her thoughts. This is her postings. So it gives you a good clue on what this woman is, just a little bit, right? If men would take 5 minutes to go through a woman's social media page, look at the kind of pictures she's posting, look what she's saying, who she's hanging around with, where she's kind of taking pictures at. You know what I'm saying? It gives you kind of a clue, and you can actually weed out certain women if you look at the social media postings. So as you look at her social media postings, it's not nothing that I can say is, some sort of church girl. No, it's not that whatsoever. But a lot of them these days aren't. She's a modern female. They got a lot of, brothers' attention. And I want to make sure, Brother Elvis put this picture up. So, as you see here, it says Lauren Smithfield. She posted this January 30th, 2020. One person that says, when I start dating white men, just know I tried my hardest with you coloreds. And then Lauren Smith Fields said in January 30th, 2020, this me AF.
And there you have it. Right? The mindset of Eve, man. Right? And I'm almost 100% sure, bro, that had everything to do with spending money to make her feel comfortable. I'm almost 100% sure. Because if it's based solely off of loving another person, can't nobody love Eve like Jake. Because we made for each other. We come out the same. Can't nobody understand our struggle like us. So this right here is vanity that we seeing. When you see a so-called black woman say something like, when I start dating white men, just know I tried my hardest with you coloreds. Man, look. That ain't got nothing to do with no love, man. That got everything to do with bills, hairdos, nails, eyelashes, right? Gucci and whatever the hell kind of clothing she wears and looking good on Facebook and Instagram. That ain't got nothing to do with love, man. Right? And that's the mindset of the majority of Eve that's in the daughter of Babylon. This is the book of Job, chapter 15 and verse 31. Says, let not him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity shall be his recompense. Right? Clearly you deceived because you if you ain't calling yourself by what the Most High calls you, you've been deceived. Right? And if you're deceived in the daughter of Babylon, you are trusting in vanity. You trusting in one of these days having the house on the hill and the money in your pockets and everything. Basically everything you see on TV, you want. But it's vanity. This is not your place of rest, Yasharala. This is a prison term you serving. Because you come from your own. I can't stress that enough, man. You come from your own, and the people that's governing you are refusing to tell you the truth about it. That should let you know something, man. That should have some bells ringing off in your ears, man, in your mind. Like, why is it so important for us to not know where we come from? How come everybody else can know where they come from, kind of, sort of, but we can't know nothing. Only thing we can know is we from Africa. And there's so many countries in Africa, right? Even Israel itself is a part of Africa. It's the most northern eastern part of it. That's a vague statement to say we from Africa. That ain't specifying what people we are, right? So let me read that again. Let not him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity shall be his recompense. This woman died for no damn reason other than trying to get with a goddamn Edomite because this his world and his world looks so enticing. All right? Let me see. It's the book of Proverbs. And I'm going to end it with this. Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 6 says, the getting of treasures by a lying tongue is a vanity tossed to and fro of them that seek death. She probably told old boy, No, cause they probably pass messages and all that good stuff. She probably talking all kind of sweet stuff to that man, and he'll probably showing her all kinds of boat trips and you know what I mean, pictures from him in Italy and France and Greece and just all over the world. Cause that's how Esau get down. But at the end of the day, where did it leave Eve? It left her spirit up there with the Father and her body in the dirt. Right? This ain't your place, man. This is not your place of rest. And Eve, you are only supposed to be dealing with your people because you receive seed. You don't give it. So when you link up with your enemy and say y'all, do the whole marriage thing, the fall in love thing and all that, you are bringing in your enemy's seed when he lays with you and procreates. Right? So, hey man, time about up, man. This place is done. We need to be getting that through our heads so we can repent and get back to doing what we're supposed to be doing by keeping the faith and keeping these works. Right? Letting that faith dictate the works. Faith in Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Right? So, like I said, I'm going to end it with that. Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai Ratazah. These precepts in this video are edifying. Call Haloyim Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Harakah Kodash. Shalom Yashalom.